In this module, we're going to be talking about stewardship as a theme for Catholic social theory. Now, you've heard this term before, and in fact, you've probably heard it many times in regards to the issues of environmental degradation, in regards to sustainability and other issues that are related. It's the belief in Catholic social thought that the goods of the earth are gifts from God, and that they are intended by God for the benefit of everyone. And this relates to this idea of the universal destination of goods, that all the things of the world were meant for everyone, and it is inappropriate for small groups or individuals to usurp a greater portion of those goods for themselves, and depriving others. It's the belief that there is a social mortgage that guides our use of the world's goods, that they are not ours, we are just in some ways borrowing them, and we're borrowing them in so many ways, in a way that protects them for future generations. And therefore, if we pollute and destroy them, we are in so many ways being irresponsible to coming generations. It's the belief that human beings have been given the responsibility to care for these goods as stewards and trustees, not as mere consumers and users. If we are just consumers and users, if that's how we view ourselves, then yes, we can go out and cut down forests and pollute rivers and destroy the environment. We're just consumers and users. However, if we are stewards and trustees, we can't just go out and do these sorts of things that wreck and ruin the environment. And this is how Catholic social thought wants to cast our relationship with the environment. How we treat the environment, therefore, becomes a measure of our stewardship. It is a sign of our respect for God, the Creator. If we do just go out and destroy forests and rivers and oceans, then we are in so many ways showing disrespect to God, who is creator of these things. It is very similar in some ways to that idea in the theme of human dignity, that human beings are an icon of God, and when we disrespect human beings, we are disrespecting God, we are being blasphemous. In a similar way, when we destroy the environment, we're blaspheming. We are disrespecting God's creation. Going a little deeper with this idea, it's interesting to analyze stewardship because it's, of course, a late developing theme in Catholic social theory. It develops late because really in Western culture, the idea of environmentalism and being good stewards of creation didn't really appear on the scene until about the 1960s. And in fact, that's when you actually begin to see this developing environmental ethic in Catholic social thought and the use of the term stewardship appear. Like I said, it doesn't appear in official documents before Vatican II in the middle of the 1960s. It only receives cursory treatment at first. So in the 1960s and 1970s, you get mention of pollution and destruction of the environment, and maybe a mention of this idea that we are supposed to be good stewards, but not much more than that. No more than a few sentences. It becomes increasingly prominent as a theme during the pontificate of John Paul II, who was Pope from 1978 till 2005. His successor, Pope Benedict XVI, is known as the environmental pope and has made this theme and environmental issues in general a central focus of his pontificate. Now, I'm going to give you a quote from his latest encyclical, Caritas in Veritate, which was issued in 2009. In nature, the believer recognizes the wonderful result of God's creative activity, which we may use responsibly to satisfy our legitimate needs, material or otherwise, while respecting the intrinsic balance of creation. If this vision is lost, we end up either considering nature an untouchable taboo or, on the contrary, abusing it. Neither attitude is consonant with Christian vision of nature as the fruit of God's creation. That's our primer to stewardship. You, of course, will be reading more about this, and you'll be discussing it online.